Hi students, in this session we are going to discuss about the topic Introduction to Band Pass Signals. Introduction to Band Pass Signals. Simply there is nothing but sampling of band pass signals. So today's topic is sampling of band pass signals. Up to now we discussed about, so in the previous classes we discussed about the sampling of band limited signals. So sampling of band limited signals. Now we are discussing about a sampling of band pass signals. So in case of this band pass signals, the spectrum of band pass signal x of omega equal to 0 for frequencies outside the range of f1 and f2. That is, if the frequency is between f1 and f2, then we have the spectrum. If the frequency is outside this f1 and f2, that is less than f1 and greater than f2, that is, if the frequency is outside f1 and f2, then the spectrum of the band pass signal x of omega is 0. That is, we don't have any spectrum. That is x of omega equal to 0 for the frequencies outside the range of f1 and f2. That is, f1 is less than or equal to f, less than or equal to f2. So that is, the frequency is between f1 and f2, we have the spectrum. But if the frequency is outside this f1 and f2, we don't have the spectrum, that is x of omega equal to 0, because it is band pass signals. So this band pass signals is nothing but signals that are allowed within a band of frequency, some, that is band f1 to f2. This is a band of frequency. In this only the signal is allowed, that is, we have the spectrum only for this band, hence it is a band pass signal. Okay, now outside this we have the spectrum x of omega equal to 0. Here the frequency f1 is always greater than 0. Here the frequency f1 is always greater than 0. The first frequency is always greater than 0, and it is higher than that. f2 is higher than f1. There is no aliasing effect when fs is greater than f2. If the sampling frequency is greater than 2f2, if the sampling frequency is greater than 2f2, then there will be no aliasing. We can record back the signals. We can record back the original signal, but it has two disadvantages. They are, first, the sampling rate is large in proportion with f2. That is, f2 is large. So the sampling rate is too large. So here the f2 is large, that is, the sampling rate is too large. That is, the sampling rate is large in proportion with f2. This will have some practical limitations. When we implement this practically, it has more number of limitations, as f2 is very large and the sampling rate is too large in proportion with the f2. It has many practical limitations. And the second one is, the sampled signal spectrum has spectral gaps. The sampled signal spectrum, that is the spectrum x of omega, has spectral gaps. There are more number of spectral gaps in the sampled signal spectrum. So there we have spectral gaps, and f2 is large, that is, the sampling rate is too large. So that will provide some practical limitations. So these two are the two disadvantages. Okay, when fs is greater than 2f2, even though it is not providing aliasing, it has some disadvantages. So there the sampling rate is too large and the sample signal spectrum has spectral gaps. So they will give some practical limitations. To overcome this, the band pass theorem states that there is a theorem, band pass theorem states that the input signal x of t can be converted into its samples. That is, x of t is converted into its samples and can be recovered back without distortion when the sampling frequency is fs is less than 2f2. That is, even though if the fs is less than 2f2, you can convert the input signal into samples and you can recover back the original signal without any distortion from the samplings if the sampling frequency is less than 2f2. So that is, if fs is less than 2f2 also, I can convert the signal into its samples and can recover back the original signal from its samples without any distortion. That is by band pass theorem. Okay, so that is, here they are saying that fs is less than 2f2. That is, fs equal to 1 by t, which is equal to 2f2 by m. Here fs equal to 1 by t. That is, the frequency and time bit are always inversional, and that value will be equal to 2f2 by m. So you have to consider like this. That is, if here m is the largest integer not exceeding f2 by b. Here m is the largest integer not exceeding f2 by b, that is less than f2 by b. Not exceeding is less than largest integer which is less than f2 by b, or m is the largest integer not exceeding f2 by b, where b is the bandwidth of the signal. Here the b is the bandwidth of the signal. See, if f equal to kb, let us consider f equal to where k is a constant, k some constant into bandwidth, then fs equal to 1 by t, which is equal to 2 into, in place of f2 I have to substitute kb, so 2 into kb by m, 2 into kb by m. For band pass signals of bandwidth 2 fm, for band pass signals, so I am considering about the band pass signal. For band pass signals of bandwidth 2 fm, if the bandwidth is 2 fm, if the bandwidth is 2 fm, the minimum sampling rate fs equal to twice the bandwidth. For band pass signals of bandwidth 2 fm, the minimum sampling rate fs will be equal to 2 into bandwidth, which is nothing but 4 fm. So they said a bandwidth equal to 2 fm bandwidth. So b equal to 2 fm. In that case, the minimum sampling rate fs will be equal to 2b. That will be equal to twice of the bandwidth, or 4 times of the fm. That is the maximum frequency present in the signal. 4 times of the fm. Okay, simple. Here for band pass signals, there is a theorem which states I can convert the input signal into its samples and can be recovered back from the samples without any distortion, even though if fs is less than 2f2. For that, I am considering fs value as 1 by t, which is equal to 2f2 by m. So this is the f2, 2f2 by m, where m is the largest integer not exceeding the value of f2 by b. Here the b is the bandwidth of the signal. Okay, so by using these formulas, I can get the original signal from the samples without any distortion. So for band pass signals of bandwidth 2 fm, the minimum sampling rate will be equal to 2b, that is twice the bandwidth. So whenever the band pass signals are having the bandwidth 2 fm, the minimum sampling rate that is fs will be equal to 2 into bandwidth, that is 2 into fm, 2 into 2, 4 fm, so twice the bandwidth. Okay, so here simply from this I can say one this, the band pass signal x of t whose maximum bandwidth is 2 fm. Consider a band pass signal x of t whose maximum bandwidth is 2 fm. So the bandwidth of that signal is maximum 2 fm, that can be completely represented in its samples and can be recovered back from its samples. So that is, whenever a band pass signal x of t whose bandwidth is 2 fm, that can be completely represented in its samples and can be recovered back from its samples without any distortion, if it is sampled at a minimum rate of twice the bandwidth. If it is sampled at a minimum rate of twice the bandwidth, okay, then I can get the signal, original signal, without any distortion. Simply, if I consider a band pass signal with bandwidth 2 fm, that signal can be completely converted into its samples and can be recovered back from its samples. That is, the original signal can be recovered back from its samples without any distortion if the signal is sampled at a minimum rate of twice the bandwidth. If it is sampled at a minimum rate of twice the bandwidth, then I can collect the original signal, recover the original signal from its samples without any distortion. So this is regarding the band pass signals. See here, fs is less than 2 fm. I am considering fs equal to 2f2 by m. 2f2 by m, that is which is less than fs, fs, and here m is nothing but the largest integer not exceeding f2 by b. B is the bandwidth of the signal. So I said for a band pass signal x of t having maximum bandwidth 2 fm, then it can be completely converted into its samples and recovered back from its samples if it is sampled at a minimum rate of twice the bandwidth. So for band pass signals, the bandwidth is 2 fm and it is sampled at a rate of twice the bandwidth, then you can convert that signal into samples and recover back the original signal from the samples without any distortion. So these are two questions. That is, the band pass signals having a bandwidth of 2 fm and it is sampled at a sampling rate fs, that is twice the bandwidth. Now the spectrum of the sample signal will be given by, finally the spectrum of the sample signal will be given by spectrum. y of omega will be equal to 1 by t period summation n equal to minus infinity x of omega minus 2nb, omega minus 2nb. Okay, so this is the spectrum of the sample signal. So the spectrum of the sample signal is given by the equation y of omega equal to 1 by t summation n equal to minus infinity x of omega minus 2nb. You know, w is the bandwidth and this is the frequency spectrum. If you want to get the spectrum, that spectrum will be given by the equation this one. So by using this equation, I can draw the spectrum of this band pass signal. Okay, so this is the explanation about band pass signals. So in the previous classes, I completely explained you about the band limited signals, the sampling of band limited signals. Now this is a band pass signal. So here band pass filter will allow the particular set of frequencies, that is a range of frequencies through which the signal will be passed. Hence, in band pass signal, the spectrum of the band pass signal x of omega equal to 0 for the frequencies outside the range of f1 less than equal to f less than equal to f2. Okay, here always f1 is greater than 0 and there is no aliasing if fs is greater than 2f2. If the sampling frequency is greater than 2f2, there will be no aliasing, but it has to be disadvantage. That is, the sampling rate is too large, that is f2 is too large, it has some practical limitations, and sample signal spectrum has spectral gaps. So based on these two advantages, to overcome this, we are going for the band pass theorem. So band pass theorem states I can convert a signal into its samples and we can recover back the original signal from its samples without any distortion when the sampling frequency is less than 2f2, that is fs is less than 2f2 also, that is I consider fs equal to 1 by t, which is equal to 2f2 by m. So 2f2 by something, that is less than 2f2. So here m is the largest integer which is not exceeding 2f2 by b, and b is the bandwidth of the signal. So for band pass signals with the bandwidth 2fm and it is sampled at a sampling rate of twice the bandwidth, then we can recover the original signal from the sample. That means we can convert the signal into its samples and can recover the original signal from its samples without any distortion. So finally we can say one thing: the band pass signals having the bandwidth 2fm, the minimum sampling rate will be equal to twice the bandwidth, that is fx equal to 2b, which is nothing but 4fm. So the band pass signal x of t whose maximum bandwidth is 2fm can be completely represented into its samples and recovered back from the samples if the signal is sampled at a sampling rate of twice the bandwidth. Finally, if you want to get the spectrum of the sample signal, so the spectrum of the sample signal will be given by the equation y of omega equal to 1 by t summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity x of omega minus 2 n b. Okay, so this is the explanation of sampling of band pass signals. So with this I explained all the concepts in this chapter, so I completed all the concepts in this unit. Okay, now we will see some problems regarding this concept sampling. So here we'll go through some problems. Now we will see some problems regarding this Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval. So in this unit sampling, we will go for some problems with respect to Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval. So they are given a problem. Find the Nyquist rate and the Nyquist interval for the following signals. They are given the signals like this. The first one is x of t equal to 1 plus cos 2000 pi t plus sin 4000 pi t. This is the first signal. The second signal is minus 10 sin 40 pi t cos 300 pi t. Second signal. And third one is sine of 4000 pi t by pi t whole square. So they are given three signals and they ask you to find out Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval of each of the following signals. First I will start with this one. So first I will start with this first one. That is, for the first one, x of t will be equal to 1 plus cos 2000 pi t plus sine 4000 pi t. Okay, 2000 pi t plus 4000 pi t. This is x of t. Now I have to get the highest frequency component of these signals. Consider 1. For 1, the highest frequency component is 0, and consider this one, so for cos 2000 pi t, let us consider cos 2000 pi t as cos of omega m1t. So here the highest frequency component is 2000 pi, because compare this with the standard one, cos omega 1t. So here the highest frequency. So in this, the highest frequency component is 2000 pi. So if you compare this with this one, I can write this 2000 pi as omega m1. Okay, or simply you can write omega m1 equal to 2000 pi. And next third one, sine 4000 pi t. So in this, the highest frequency component is 4000 pi. This also you can represent with the standard signal sine omega m2t. So here this sine omega m2 is 4000 pi. So the given signal is summation of 1 plus cos plus sine. So this summation. So I gone for the individual ones. So I got the highest frequency component of 1. So highest frequency component of 1 is 0. And the highest frequency component of this cos wave is 2000 pi. And the highest frequency component of sine wave is 4000 pi. Okay. Now I will go for the maximum value of these highest frequency components. Now I go for the maximum of these three. Maximum of these highest frequency components. In the three frequency components, I go for the maximum. So first one is 0. Next one is 2000 pi. And the last third one is 4000 pi. So the maximum of the highest frequency component is 4000 pi. 4000 pi. Okay. So this omega m1, omega m2, omega 0, omega naught, different. So here this is a maximum of frequency component, omega m. So we can consider this as omega m equal to 4000 pi. Omega is equal to 4000 pi. And we know the value of omega. Omega equal to 2 pi f. So omega m equal to 2 pi fm. So 2 pi fm equal to 4000 pi. 4000 pi. Okay. Now pi gets cancelled. So finally that implies fm will be equal to 4000 by 2. 4000 by 2. That is nothing but 2000. Okay. So that is the value of fm. So I got the value of fm. Now I will go for the Nyquist rate. So Nyquist rate with fn will be equal to 2 into fm. So that will be equal to 2 into 2000. So that is equal to 4000 hertz. So for this the Nyquist rate is 4000 hertz. Next I had to find out Nyquist interval. Nyquist interval. Okay. So Nyquist interval is nothing but the inverse of Nyquist rate, or simply it is nothing but inverse of Nyquist rate. Nyquist rate, that is 1 by fn. So Nyquist interval is nothing but 1 by fn, which is equal to 1 by 2 fm. Okay. So that will be equal to, so 1 by fn, which is equal to 1 by 2 fm. So which is equal to 1 by 4000. 1 by 4000. So 1 by 4000 is equal to 0.25 into 10 power minus 3, or simply this will be equal to 0.25 milliseconds. So Nyquist interval. So if you represent as a t, okay, Nyquist interval, if you represent as a t, that will be equal to 0.25 milliseconds. So this is the time. Okay, so time will be in seconds. So this is how to get the Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval. First, consider the given problem. There, if it is a summation, consider each one and get the highest frequency component of each one, and go for the maximum of all the highest frequency component. So that will give the omega m. From that, find out the value of fm by the formula 2 pi fm. So once we got the value of fm, I know the formulas for Nyquist rate. That is fn will be equal to 2 fm, and I got the formula for Nyquist interval, that is t equal to 1 by fn. Okay, so with this I can find out the values of Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval. So for this, the Nyquist rate is 400 hertz, because hertz is the unit for frequency, and the Nyquist interval is 0.25 milliseconds. Seconds is the unit for the time, Nyquist interval. Now I will go for the second problem. We will go for the second problem. Here the second problem is given x of t equal to minus 10 sine 40 pi t cos 300 pi t. Okay, simple. In the first problem it is summation of different sines and causes, but here it is multiplication. So we all know the multiplication of the signals in time domain will be equal to convolution in the frequency domain, is equal to the convolution of their respective spectra in frequency domain. Okay, convolution in spectra. So if it is multiplication in time domain, then in frequency domain it will be go for convolution of the spectra. So first here, first for this sine 40 pi t, okay, if you consider this as sine omega m1 into t, so if you compare this with the standard one, so omega m1 equal to 40 pi, that is the highest frequency component of this one. The same way cos 300 pi t, if you compare this with some standard equation, cos of omega m2 into t, so omega m2 will be equal to 300 pi. So this is the highest frequency component of cos 300 pi t. So here these two are multiplied in the time domain. Now they will be convoluted in spectrum. They will be convoluted. So for that I need the maximum. So how can I get the maximum or the highest frequency component in the spectrum? So in spectrum I get the highest frequency component by adding the individual frequencies of these two, by adding the individual frequency components, highest frequency component. Just by adding the individual highest frequency component, I get the maximum value in frequency spectrum, because in frequency spectrum they will become as convolution. Okay, here in time domain they are multiplied, so in frequency domain they will be convoluted. Okay, so for that in spectrum the highest frequency or the maximum frequency component, that is omega m, will be given as a summation of this individual highest frequency components, because here it is multiplication, so that will be converted into convolution in spectrum. For that reason I have to add the highest frequency component of individual ones, so I have to go for omega m1 plus omega m2, that will be equal to 40 pi plus 300 pi, so which is equal to 340 pi, which is equal to 340 pi. Okay, so 340 pi, the value will be equal to 345. And I need Fm. How can I get the Fm? So we all know omega m equal to 2 pi Fm, and the omega m value will be equal to 340 pi gets cancelled, and Fm will be equal to 340 by 2, nothing but 170. Okay, so 170 hertz. So 170 hertz. So this is the value of Fm. So from this I have to find out the value of Nyquist rate. So we have the formula of Nyquist rate. So what is the formula for Nyquist rate? Okay, Nyquist rate is represented with Fn, which is equal to 2 into Fm, so that equal to 2 into 170, so that is equal to 340 hertz. So the Nyquist rate is 340 hertz. So the hertz are the units of frequency. And next I have to find out Nyquist interval. So Nyquist interval. So this the Nyquist interval is nothing but the inversion of this Nyquist rate, or simply Nyquist interval. Nyquist interval is nothing but the inversion of Nyquist rate, that will be equal to, so 1 by, what is the value of Nyquist rate? 340. So 1 by 340 seconds. So units, The units of time is seconds. So the Nyquist interval value is 1 by 340 seconds. So this is how to find out the Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval when there is a product of two signals is given in one signal. So I gone for the a solution of first and second one. So I left the third one for your practice. So that is for your work. So you have to find out the Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval for the third one. So that is for your work. See, in the first one there is summation of this cos and sines. Hence, I gone for finding the highest frequency components of individual ones, and I taken the maximum of all those three. Okay, and that will be taken as omega m. From that I calculated fm, and then I calculated Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval. In the second one, they had given the product of those sinusoidal signals. That is, sine signal is multiplied with the cos signal. Whenever there is a multiplication in time domain, that will be converted to the convolution spectrum. So for that, I have to go for the highest frequency component individually first. So for sine, I have to go for the highest frequency component, and for cos also, I have to go for the highest frequency component. So in frequency spectrum, that is, in spectrum, they are convoluted. Hence, to get the maximum frequency component of the highest frequency component, I have to add the individual frequency components. Whenever we have go for the multiplication in the time domain, to get the maximum frequency component of the spectra, I have to add the individual frequency components. So I am adding the individual ones. So then I get omega m. From that, I know the formula of omega, that is 2 pi f. Omega m equal to 2 pi fm. From that, I calculate the fm. Maximum frequency. So using fm, I find out the value of Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval. So I hope you are clear with these two problems. So for that, I have given the third one for your practice. So with this, we completed this unit. Thank you, one and all.